Everything eventually gets remade, right? Sometimes the remakes are good and sometimes they're shit, but they always invite discussion. Well, this could really have been an amazing one. All the right things were in place. I mean, a new version of Planet of the Apes with an all-star cast, modern special effects, and the direction of Tim Burton. What could go wrong? Yeah. Well, first I want to say it may bear the name Planet of the Apes, but this is no remake. Clearly this is a reboot. They were trying to start a new series. It just never happened. It has some minor similarities with the first film, but really it's just lip service through some names that they used and some references. The story is completely different. I'd heard that this one also might follow the original book more, but that's bull. The only thing they took from the book was that the planet is not Earth, and that the ending kinda, sorta, if you squint a lot, resembles the ending from the book. That being said, this one takes place in the future. The main character, Leo, is an Air Force pilot who works in a space station. They never let him fly, though. Everything is done by chimps. When a space storm comes nearby, his superior officers reject his pleas to be allowed to check it out. Instead, they send a chimp who vanishes. Disobeying orders, Leo follows in another pod to also get sucked up, and he winds up crash landing on another planet where he meets some other humans who are being hunted by intelligent horse-riding apes. He's caught with the other humans and brought to a slaver who plans to auction them off. Leading the hunt was General Thade and his best friend Attar. Thade is in love with the senator's daughter Ari, though she detests him. She's a pro-human rights activist who believes that humans should be more integrated into ape society and not be slaves. Well, the big difference between this film and the original film is that the humans can talk in this film, and the apes are well aware of this. The original movie was really about how we treat animals. The humans were treated badly because they were seen as unintelligent beasts, but in this case the apes are well aware that the humans are intelligent. They treat them badly because they're just bastards, so it becomes a movie more about slavery and racism. Hell, one of the human characters even uses the term house human. Yeah, let that one sink in. Anyway, Ari buys Leo and some other humans because she thinks they'd be better off with her. Thade discovers the ship that brought Leo to the ape planet, but he kills the witnesses who saw it. Thade's anti-human stance comes from his elderly father Zaius, who hilariously is played by Charlton Heston in this, who has an ancient human relic, a gun, and believes that humans can sow nothing but destruction. So while Leo, a human girl named Deanna, Ari, and her friend Krull all go out to find Leo's ship, and along the way they are accosted by Limbo, the slaver, who they take captive. Leo is getting a tracking signal, and he believes his comrades are looking for him, but it turns out the signal is coming from his own ship, which, despite crashing just a few days ago, seems like it's been there for thousands of years. Thade and his forces catch up with them, and Leo is seen as a rallying point for many humans, and there's a big battle between the humans and the apes. But it's interrupted by the arrival of the pod carrying the first chimp who was sent out, who the apes immediately start worshipping as their god. Leo and the chimp go to the ship, where they plan to leave, but they're attacked by Thade, who injures the chimp. He gets a hold of a gun and he tries to shoot Leo, but the ship's shield protects him, and Attar, who was on the ship when he put the shield up, refuses to attack Leo as Thade injured his god, and he's very religious. Well, okay, the ending. I actually can explain it. It doesn't make too much sense, but it can be understood. Basically, the other humans and apes crash-landed on the planet, which was uninhabited when they went looking for Leo. They couldn't leave, so they just started living there. The apes eventually turned on them and took over, making the Air Force people and the space chimps the original inhabitants of the planet, which is why the first chimp was worshipped. Leo had gone through the storm and was thrown forward in time to a distant future, seeing the result of the society created by those who went looking for them. He returns by going through the storm and manages to get back to his own time, and then he flies to Earth, only to find that the Earth has been taken over by apes as well, and the Lincoln Memorial is now a memorial to Thade. Well, how did that happen? Fucked if I know. That's the part that makes zero sense. And you know what? It wasn't supposed to. Even Tim Burton said he just threw out the last scene in this sequel hook, and that they'd figure out an explanation later if they made the planned sequels. But that never happened. Even though the movie made a lot of money, Tim Burton said he'd rather jump out a window than make a sequel. Why? Well, this movie sucked. Really, really sucked. The entire thing could have been awesome, but there's just too much weirdness. The movie won't take itself seriously. Everything seems to revolve around Paul Giamatti as Limbo and his constant one-liners, and the childish bickering between Ari and Deanna, which at first seems to be an ape-human thing, but it's clearly because they both want Leo's cock, which is just creepy on Ari's part, especially since there does seem to be something between the two. Dude, I know it's Helena Bonham Carter, but come on, she's a frickin' chimpanzee. The entire premise of the movie is skewed. As I pointed out, the apes are nothing more than slavers, and there's no morality play or philosophical bend to the movie. The apes also act more primitive. Even though they can talk, they also grunt and scream and jump around a lot, which really doesn't help their case as being more civilized and cultured than the humans. The acting is lopsided. Michael Clarke Duncan is good, Helena Bonham Carter is good, but Mark Wahlberg seems like he's lost, and Paul Giamatti is overused as the comic relief. So is there anything positive to say? Well, yes. The special effects are fantastic. The apes look fairly realistic. Well, the male ones anyway. The female ones just look creepy. And Tim Roth as Thade is a spectacular villain. I just wish we had more of Zaius, as he's really the reason that Thade was so evil. Overall, this is a poor attempt at restarting a series, and thankfully, it was pretty much dead on arrival, and it got no sequels. This is the kind of movie that you can enjoy if you shut your brain completely off. But any amount of thought will have you tossing popcorn at the screen. 4 out of 10.